Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSI DFS Fantasy NASCAR Picks. I'm Ernest Micro 31. A speculation video for you. We got all three series going this weekend, so unfortunately, we'll have nothing before the truck series. You got practice and qualifying. They are at IRP. They are not at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where Xfinity and Cup are going to be. Xfinity will be a speculation video, but we'll at least have practice before that, and then Cup will be normal. We'll have everything to go on for that. So it's kind of hard here because I look and trying to see like Lucas Oil is shorter oval. It's not quite three-quarters of a mile. It's like two-thirds of a mile, uh 0.686 to be exact. It's 12-degree banking, so it's kind of flat, tight turns. It's very technical, so it's almost like a road course or short course drivers, ones that drive on dirt, do pretty well here. So we'll have to make note of that. And like I said, comparison tracks like Richmond, New Hampshire, Phoenix, Gateway, Iowa. I think some of those tracks are coming up in the schedule. Really haven't seen anything. Thinking of maybe Rockingham, but Rockingham's really high tire wear. It's D-shaped, kind of like and it's almost a mile track. So this one's a little bit shorter. And Loop Soil, like there is wear, but it's more moderate. So there's fall off, but not as much as some of the high tire wear tracks. And that one's like a high speed, like track where like momentum really carries you, where this one is very, very technical with the braking. So I'll have to have good equipment, good skill, and it should be a very fun race. I'm assuming because they're so close in proximity to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway that we will have live pits. Sometimes if the Truck Series or Xfinity is a one-off and they're far, far away, because of some teams don't have money and they usually use Cup or other um, series teams to help them pit, then it puts them kind of at a little bit of a disadvantage at times. So what that's going to do is live pitting is much better than when they all stop and there's no strategy or anything like that. We also have the playoffs coming up. So three races left. There's one this month, two in August, and then they start the playoffs. So 10 make the playoffs. And right now you have Heim, Hemrick, Ruth, Riggs, Ankrum, Smith, and Friesen, the ones that are in the baby blue there, are locked in. Majewski, Honeycutt, and Empfinger are about 30 points at least above the cut line. So they are in good shape. But they still need to get some points, and a win will definitely solidify things. Garcia, Giovanni, and Ben Rhodes, which is kind of a shocker because Ben Rhodes is a perennial like playoff contender, need to do. They're not mathematically out of it, but they're going to need to have some good races and hope like some of these ones in the yellow don't have good races to try to point their way in, unless they get a win. And the ones in red, so Mozak, Delara, Gray, Crafton, Sutton, Wood, Mills, Boyd, Brenninger, and Munoz would need to win to get in. Everybody else is just part-time driver out there, and they are just going for the win. So could be interesting for strategy here. So we'll look at the top, and Corey Heim is obviously probably going to be in the poll. If he's not, then he's probably going to be a prime play. You want Dominator here, 200 laps, probably two Dominators race. I could see one person getting out there and dominating the whole race potentially. So Himes just he his price is what it is because he's just been head and shoulders above the rest of the class. Besides, when you throw some of the cup drives coming down, very very solid year. He's human. He's There have been some races where it hasn't worked out playing him, but for the most part, you really really want to play Corey Heim because it usually pays off, and then you figure out who the other five drivers are. And hopefully that's probably going to be the case again here. Vic Garcia, my model really liked as one that can probably get up there and have a really good starting position, but I don't think he's going to be able to hold it. So I think he's going to be an upside dominator. We'll have to keep an eye on him, but also one that really needs points. I think that kind of hurts him. So it's probably more of a GPP player because if he's out there looking to try to get stage points, then that could hurt him at stage three, a chance to get track position to contend for the win. And especially if he's starting second, it could lose you place differential. Brett Cruz is going to be a 20K guy. He's a good driver. He's in a good truck, and I think he's kind of like a sleeper here. He's young and talented. He's got a lot of upside. I think he's definitely a top 15 driver. Model has him starting third. I think it's just more of the Tricon truck, but we'll have to see how it goes in practice and qualifying. But he's one that I think is going to be kind of like a sleeper dark horse to keep an eye out on. Hemrick, I think is a good GPP. Here, he is locked in with a win. He's been solid on short tracks throughout his career in Infinity and Cup and here. And this is on a good team. Nothing but good things to say. I think the projection is a little bit low here because I think he's starting like a little bit further forward than he really is, just based on averages. But we'll have to see how he does in practice and qualifying. But I think he could be an upside down. Majeski is one that really needs to win here. I think that he's definitely a top five. Excellent on short track, has a very good record for it, has a lot of upside. And I think that he's the one that could be like your second dominator potentially with time. Or sometimes we see like he gets on the pole and is like the first dominator, and then Heim takes over later in the race. So definitely like Majeski. Honeycutt, I had a cash play on him, but now that I see him, he's in yellow, might be a GPP, but we'll just have to see how the context is. Like, are they going to go out there for the points, or are they going to go out and try to win the race? So it's a little bit iffy here. So that might, but I really like the upside. He's been solid under the radar here. I just really think that it's a driver that's he's aggressive, and you just don't think like when he qualifies that high up, he's going to be able to hold it, and he's been able to. It's the same thing they said about like Nick Sanchez last year, and I see a lot of the same, not style, but just like some of the same being able to hang around up there and get solid good finishes. So um, I have him as cash right now. We'll have to consider the whole point thing, but I think it's a decent play. Kruth really like here, underpriced by far. So I have the prime play on him. I don't think I care where he starts. He's probably going to end up he's such a good, has such good form on short tracks. And I think he's definitely got a top 10 truck here with potential for a top five. Um, very, very strong day, and one of the best point per dollar plays, I think, potentially on the slate. Riggs, I think, is the second one to Heim. I know Chastain is in here, and I know Chastain is not racing for anything, but Heim and Riggs also have wins, so they don't really need to worry about. They can go for the win. Yes, increasing their playoff position helps with both of them are towards the top of the standings, anyways. So I think we're in. Let me just look at that and see where they are. So yeah, Briggs only has like one win, but I believe he's third in the standings. So he definitely uh, can go for the win, and I think he's got a lot of safety there. So like him, it's gonna be hard getting Heim and Riggs and the other primes in. I think it's gonna come down to. Let me just go Ross Chastain. Ross Chastain has been in good form, and he's won a lot of. He's won some cup races. He's won some Xfinity. He's been like there in the truck series. So definitely a contender. This Nice truck is not as good, I feel, as some of the other trucks in the field. And I don't know how good technically he is on short tracks. So he gets good results. He's a talented driver. His aggression's there, but I don't really know with like the braking and everything if he's one that uh, I really I really want to prioritize. I think if I'm paying up here, time and rigs. So Chastain, I'll probably be the first guy in my GPP lineup if I don't think I'm playing with cash. Enfinger, I know he's the 92 here, but the other prime play is between Riggs and Enfinger because I really feel solid with them being the second dominator if it's not Majeski. I think it's between those four. So if you're looking at your dominator group, I'm going to keep it pretty tight. Again, it could be anybody. Like Cruz could work his way in there because he doesn't have to worry about points. Chastain could work his way in there. Corey Day could work his way in there. I mean, there's a couple other trucks also. But I think the main ones I'm going to focus on for dominators are going to be Majeski, Haim, Riggs, and Enfinger. I like those. I'm probably going to have two of those in my cash build. And one of them is probably gonna be Haim, so I'm gonna probably figure out who the other one is. So when I did my first preliminary build, again, we don't haven't had qualifying or practice or anything here, but just in just kind of to see how like budgeting would work out. It's like if we fight between Riggs and Enfinger, which one I could take. Giovanni, I know he's gotta get some stage points here, but could be potentially going for the win because maybe they're too far out of it. So I think that's how far many points is it? Negative 65. So there's some work to do. And you have like Honeycutt and Enfinger, they're positive 65. So Majeski with 38 is like it's a 90 point uh, turnaround there potentially. Um, Above where the elimination line is. Maybe it's not that drastic, but anyways, it's needs to do some work, needs to win a race or needs to get some points. But I still think strong potential cash play unless it's starting way too far forward and there's going to be no place differential or potential negative place differential. Ankrum and Smith, I like these two plays, two other solid drivers. Smith's skill set is a great fit for the track, and that's why with like the place differential potential, he could be a top five and starting like 13th. This is kind of where his average is. That's why he's got the highest score. Like the scoring is not reflecting any dominating points. It's just pure starting and finishing position is what I use for the model. So definitely Smith has upside there, and Ankrum is has been kind of one that you're is underrated on flatter tracks. So good solid. He just ends up just getting into like other people's messes sometimes, and gets taken out way too often. That's why last year he's almost at GPPs. He's been more solid this year and got the win. So I think there's upside between two of them. So I think their cash plays also. Corey Day is one Inspire truck, like one of the best trucks out there, like an all-star truck to come in here and has a lot of upside. His dirt background helps him to adapt for the shorter tracks and um, braking and stuff like that. So I think he's got sleeper upside for the 20K one. Mozak needs a win here. Definitely is probably one that can finish in the top 15. I don't think he's top 10. So I'll have to see where he starts, but I think a 71 could be a couch fill in. Delara, uh, probably, again, we'll have to see how fast they're in practice. I like these fire trucks, but we'll have to see what speed they have and fall off there. Roads I have as a cash, even though ThorSport just hasn't had the speed, but I think there's a lot that he's going to have to do and start to get aggressive. And it's just kind of hard to believe that Ben Rhodes wouldn't make the playoffs, but I don't know. He might end up being a GPP and the cash tag might fall off. We'll have to see where he starts. Tanner Gray, I just don't think this is a great course for him. And his results recently have been okay. Obviously has a lot of work to do, needs to do like some strategy work or something to try to get a win to get into the playoffs, or he'll be home for the or no, they all race, so it's not like when they're eliminated, they don't get the race. But I just don't know if he's going to make the playoffs this year. And I think he's a GPP here. Friesen has the win, and I think that he can go for like dirt track and all this other short track experience, and he's had some speed this year. He's been pretty solid. Oh, recent form is getting a little bit questionable again, but not to the degree where it was last year, where he always was a GPP no matter what track we're on. So I think he's still safe for cash. I think he's got some upside. He doesn't usually qualify well, but I think he can get some place differential and be there in the end. I don't know if he's winning this one, but 77, I think that's a fair price. Crafton, I think, has got to go for the win, but again, these Thor Sport trucks have not had the speed this year, so GPP for me. Sutton, Woods, and Mills, all the same thing. GPP darts. Fenhaas, is not racing in this series all the time, but when he does race, he does pretty well. And at 65, I think he's got tremendous upside here. So I definitely like um like him as probably a prime play because like down here I got some cash plays, but I don't really feel great about him. But he's the one that I feel pretty solid. Queen potentially also another Spire truck, another driver with tremendous upside that could go out and have a very solid day at a decent price. I'm flying around. Jordan Anderson's back, which is kind of cool. I haven't seen him in a while. He usually goes out and only races on super speedways. So it's kind of interesting to see him come out here. He's not on his own team. He's in a young truck. And so we'll see. But he was good on road courses back in the day. So I think that he's got some upside here for cash at 59. And he's not as old as I thought he was. He's only like 35. I thought he was like close to his 50s. Um, so that was kind of shocking when I was like looking up his information, doing the homework for the cheat here. So I think Jordan Anderson has some solid upside here. Boyd's fade. This Freedom Racing just doesn't seem to be technical, especially on a track that's really going to be like technical and potentially beat up the trucks with braking and stuff. I just see a breakdown coming for this one. I know you might be falling over saying like, "What are you doing, Mega here, Branger and Munoz?" But I think if you look at like how potentially bad the bottom is down here in the 5K range, I think you need to at least consider potentially these two, unless they look like turtles and completely lost out there in practice and qualifying, that they could potentially, if they're starting somewhere in the 30s and they can get up into the low 20s, then at 5K, that's like what you need, and it's going to open up enough salary to get. I wouldn't play both of them in one lineup. One or the other probably, if you need a punt. But if you do, I think they're safe here. Um, like Waller, I just like Munoz. I like that Reunion truck, but the 22 not as much. I just feel that some of the Reunion trucks get more priority than the others, and I just don't think this 22 is going to have it. Greg Van Alst just started his own team here, and this is his local track. He's from Indiana, so I put the 20K on it. This might change when we get to the real, when I see him out there and he's like dead last. And every truck's gonna qualify here, so there's no question for that one. So but if I see slower than Norm Dunning, then that 20K flag is coming right off him. But you have Dennison out here in another Ream truck. That's Jason Alexander, not the guy from Seinfeld, in a young motorsports truck. I just don't see much for any of these, but Greg Van Alst, just because of his experience on this track, um, and if you remember old school, like this used to be a road course too, but they let that get all dilapidated and like overgrown, and they never run on that anymore. So this is actually an oval. Um, so I have to look up and see if like Van Alt like ran on the road course or if he runs on the oval here. Or how it goes. But anyways, I just think it's intriguing that he's a local guy here, and maybe that gives him a little bit of advantage among like some of the scrubs down here. But I'm not super interested in Dennison and Alexander, and I just can't play Benning. But if you are trying to get a lot of expensive drivers in your lineup with only 34 trucks in the field, the last place truck ends up with 5 points. So like you have a floor of five for anybody that's starting dead last, which is much better than if you have a cup race and it's 40 and the floor is like one. And there's so much potential for even somebody in the low 30s can still lose like or high 30s. So, if starting like 33, 32, 31 can lose anywhere from 7 to 9 place differential points. Whereas here, like you don't have that. So if Greg Van Alt loses 3 points ends up with a five, he ends up with a two. I mean, that's not horrible. He's not getting any negatives like some drivers can. So there might be some upside in punts. Probably going to avoid like Boyd and Benning just because of the tech. But I do feel a little bit better about Brediger and Frankie Munoz here. Like they've been in the series long enough, and some of the other ones around here could potentially struggle. I think they have upside in the 5K range, but like I said, Fennis and Cruz are definitely my prime plays. And figure out and finger or Riggs from there, and probably playing Heim, and then that gives you, I think, about like 7K for the final two drivers. And again, that's if all breaks, and this is how we practice and qualifying goes similar to what I have here. But if you want the real things, then all you have to do is sign up for FSI DFS, and it's $5 for the whole weekend for NASCAR. It was super simple. Description of the video has the link to the website, and if you I mean, I can't give everything away for free, but what I usually do is when we do a speculation video, if you go in and join our Discord, there's a room called NASCAR Pool. It's absolutely free to join. Then I'll at least like throw what the updated primes are and answer questions in there after I take care of the paying customers. So if these videos help us back, like, subscribe to the channel, share with friends. If you have any questions, you can hit me up at MegaRuler31 on Twitter/X, or like I said, on Discord. And looking forward to a good racing weekend with three races. Hopefully, no weather like Dover last week. That was very annoying with the cancellation of practice qualifying for Cup and then not ending the race when it should have. So, but those things happen. So, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Hopefully, this kicked off your weekend on a positive note with some green screens. And I look forward to making the other two videos. And hopefully, you can come out and watch those too. So, thanks for watching. Good luck in your contest. I'll see you next time.